And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Court of the Dead Dark Harvest, a ghoulish bidding game from Skybound. I liked a lot of the things that Skybound has done lately, and there's a couple games coming from Skybound that I am very exuberantly excited about. I had not heard much of this one. Court of the Dead Dark Harvest does not sound like a theme that I'm super pumped about, but it has a bidding mechanism in it, and a group way to win/lose. Well, that's hard to explain, but let me show you. In this game, there are two ways to win. If you have the most souls at the end of the game, you will win after a certain number of rounds, after the final harvest. You're going to have a bunch of harvest cards here. Or if you manage to have everyone eliminated but you, then you also win. So there's three piles of cards here. You'll look at the back of these cards and it will show you what type of cards go on each pile. And you just put them there so people know. But there's also going to be one of these gray cards that's shuffled in to each of these piles. At the beginning of each round, you're going to turn over the top card of each pile from flesh, spirit, and bone. Each player is going to start with 5 influence, and you're going to get one of these influence back every turn. But what you're going to do is you're going to secretly bid a number of your influence tokens along with a token that matches flesh, spirit, or bone. And you're going to reveal these. All the influence that you use is spent, whether you win or lose. If you bid the same amount as somebody else, everyone loses a tie. If anyone does win, they're going to get not only this card, but they're also going to take this card and put it in front of them. These give benefits. The flesh lets you add or subtract an influence after bids are revealed. The spirit will let you add or subtract a soul in the offering. We'll talk about that later. And the bone lets you once per round declare the winner of a tie. Each of these cards you get will also give you some benefit. So this lets you choose a player to lose souls equal to twice the amount of influence they bid this round. This one here says unless at least 2 influences placed on him, this harvest will count as a failure. And this one, Death, the gray card, says all players announce how many souls are behind their screen. The player with the most gives 4 to the player with the least. So that's kind of the cards that are going to show up. Then it's offering time. We turn over the top offering card, and the Celestial Ward demands 13 souls. So everybody is going to bid a certain number of souls, which you're going to use and pay. And you need to meet this amount here as a total as a group. If you fail, you're going to get one of these failure markers here. So these failure tokens are going to be given out. You do not want to get 3 of them because once you have more of these tokens, you're going to start eliminating players, and that will be the person who contributes the fewest souls. On your first or second one of these tokens that you get, whoever has the fewest souls has to do the failure thing here, which is play without a screen during the next harvest. But once you have the third failure token or more, then whoever contributes the fewest souls, if you fail, will lose, and they're out of the game completely. Now, if it succeeds, whoever contributes the most souls to the harvest gets an extra influence back that they can use on future rounds. This will continue until you get to the final harvest, and of course here if you fail, you lose the game. Doesn't matter if you were winning up to that point or not. After the final harvest, players will reveal all the souls behind their screen, and whoever has the most is the winner. So let's start with the good components. Game trays. Game trays are awesome. There's 2 game trays, one sits on the other, has a lid, holds everything well. That's pretty much all I like. I don't like the influence token. They're round tokens for whatever reason so that they can roll over the table. The souls they're okay. They're boring tokens. And then this is going to depend on what you think of this artwork. So when you look at the artwork on these cards, it's gross and disgusting and nasty, I guess. Not that gross, I suppose, but it's just, if you like this style of art, yay, I'm looking at skull pictures. The cards are okay quality. The game also comes with shields per player that explain all the different phases and what happens after each phases. I also should have mentioned here that you get a certain number of souls every round, and the number of souls you get is based on the number of players, so it tells you that information. These shields are okay. They hide your stuff. They're not bad, but overall, the game is dark, and I don't mean the theme is dark, just all the cards are dark. And like, look, for example, how big the card is compared to the text on the card, I just felt like it could have been. This game, I think, could have looked nicer. I gotta say, this game was an abysmal failure for me in so many ways. This game is like it went down a list of things that Tom Vasel doesn't like and just checked them off. Now, I can stomach blind bidding to some degree. Blind bidding, I like the concept of it. Let's all bid. Blind bidding where you lose where you lose what you bid, even if you lose the bid itself, is not particularly fun. There are ways to mitigate that, especially if you somehow get rewarded or whatever. You don't in this game. This game, if you don't do well in bidding, ha, 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 ha. That's it. Not only do you lose the stuff you bid, the person who wins the bid gets a cool card that they can instantly use against you. You don't get the cool bonus card that's there. You don't get extra souls that you'll be able to spend in the end of the day. And you only get one influence back, and it's just not that. Wow, that part is a good chunk of the game, and a lot of people aren't going to like that. Secondly, the game has player elimination, which is all well and good. I don't have as big of a problem with it because the game is shorter, but still, player elimination. Thirdly, there's take that. A lot of the cards are just, hey, I'm just going to smack you. And you saw the one, it's just like the person who has the most gives the 4 to the person who has the least. Really? I mean, that's so like 20 years ago type design. I'm sorry, but I just, that to me feels like bad game design straight up on that card here. And you say, well, you can look at these cards and you can say, okay, this one here at the end of the game gives you +5 souls, or choose a player to play without a screen, or choose someone to lose 4 souls. These things, this just doesn't feel, they're not even that interesting. It's like a little take that game with this really blind bidding where you have 5 souls at most. Ties make people lose. And then there's the final part of each round, the harvesting of souls. I dislike that too. You need to meet a requirement of a certain number of souls. And I mean, these requirements are going to be fairly similar. I mean, they're just various numbers, 16, 17, 13, 15, okay? And there's a different thing for failing each one, but it's sitting there, okay, we need 15 souls. There's 3 of us. We each need to give 5. Why should I give 5? You got extra souls this turn. You should give 6 and I give 4. But I can't make you do it. You could sit there and say, well, I don't care. I can give more souls than you, and you give more souls than me, and then you get an extra influence, and I'm still behind a little bit. I know that there's supposed to be this kind of cool game in that thing, right? It sounds cool in theory. Like, okay, everyone is sitting there thinking about it, and if you bid a whole lot, you will help make the offering happen, but you'll lose more souls. If you bid less souls, you can kind of keep extra souls to win the game, but if you bid too few and you fail, which will happen a lot, then you get one of those black marks. And so at the end of the day, if someone can count how many souls everyone got, which is very possible, they can sit there and go, oh, this is how much I need to bid. You can bid the same amount as me, or even more than me, and we'll win, but I'll still win the game. You bid less than me, we lose. I hated this game. I hated every part of it. I hated the blind bid auction. I hated the player elimination. I hated the take that. I hated the theme, and I hated the final soul thing. Now, as I've gone over this, there's a strong possibility you like it. I know some people will like the theme so much that it will trump the other parts, and some people don't mind all this. But I'm telling you, it went over like a lead balloon when I played this with people. It definitely feels like a game that came out in the early 90s, as opposed to something that comes out now. And this one's just a big pass for me. So, Dark Harvest, Court of the Dead. Also, I should mention, the scaling is crazy. As you lose players, you get less souls. It's just a weird... I'm just not going to keep piling on it. I don't like the game. Maybe you will. Court of the Dead, Dark Harvest. I'm Tom Vasel. We'll see you next time. Dice Tower Judgment. I dislike this one in every way.